The main problem is that sometimes I can see what's going on, but I can't get both of my eyes on some of the areas. So like my focus is off. If that makes any sense whatsoever. You started tracking your sleep? Oh, sick. I've been tracking my sleep for a very long time. Several years. It is definitely a nice thing to track. Although some people apparently get anxiety tracking shit. Yeah, sleep tracking is actually is a great idea, I think. As long as you don't get too anxious about those sorts of things. Okay. As for the hands, I guess it's practice. Yeah, but I've been practicing for quite a while, and I noticed at least that there is some daily variance. Which is interesting. It seems like one of those things you normally would never pick up on. Unless you do something regularly for a certain amount of time. These are also kind of annoying areas to paint though. Especially right over here in the front. It made you realize, the sleep tracking, that you're not just having a few bad days, it's just bad across the board. Yeah, there's quite a few things you can do to help improve sleep. I noticed for me personally, it matters a lot what temperature the room is in. There seems to be quite a bit of variance though for a lot of people, but room temperature is a big one. Generally speaking, you want it to be a good couple degrees colder than the rest of your home if that's possible. Okay, we got a little bit of the green in there, which is making this look a hell of a lot nicer. We'll have to let that dry for a little bit. What a sexy demon rat man. That's what we're going for, dude. Sexy demon rat man. That is exactly the vibe I'm trying to achieve. He's showing a bit of leg, yes. And a little bit of like his extra joint right over here. You can't really see it. But that's his like reverse elbow thing, whatever it is. Whatever the scientific name for that is. It's pretty hot, I agree. Sometimes I wonder if he's showing off too much ankle, you know? Gonna do a little bit of edge highlighting across the weapon, or the staff. I guess we'll do all of the sides first. Okay. And a little bit of a bright highlight. Okay, gotta be careful I don't accidentally cover up too much of the previous layers. But I guess we'll add some verdigris over here too, so we can kind of cover up some of our mistakes that way. A little bit of a bluish tint in some of the more recessed bits. I'm gonna use the edge of the brush as much as I can. Some of the sections is gonna be impossible, but you can't have your room be cold no matter what. That sucks. We usually have a window open, man, even in the middle of the winter. It's OP for sleeping, I find. Okay. No, we live in a relatively quiet place, not too much noise. Not until other people go to work, but I get up reasonably early. At least for content creators' hours, you know? I like getting up quite early. Well, a lot of my, let's call them colleagues, will wake up at like 3 in the afternoon, you know? I've tried doing that in the past, but it fucks with my my mental a little too much. I like, even though I don't enjoy getting up early, I think overall it's much better for me to wake up early. Early-ish. Okay. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. It is pretty bright though. I may go back in with some of the color that we used for the base. And actually, I want to like stipple a bit of a highlight on each of these edges. Lots of little spikes here. Each of the rivets, each of the spikes. Just a hint of color. Good. Oh, you can't have your room be too cold because of your animals? Right. Yeah. Are you cold-blooded too, Shiny? Are you a lizard? It's a trick question, chat. Let's see if we can catch one. Okay, you are maybe. Okay. You did not fall for the trap, chat. You haven't seen Meerkats in a while? No, Meerkats for some reason got banned on Twitch, Degno. I don't know what happened there. His account has been deleted off of Twitch. He hasn't been here in months. Somebody asked at some point, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. So I typed /user, and it said the account has been deactivated. I don't know. Sometimes regular viewers disappear. You got banned? I have no idea. Unless you manually deactivate your account, but... No. It says if somebody's got a name change. I don't really know. But this has been happening for years, man. Sometimes people just disappear. That's okay. Especially when people like change jobs and stuff, you know? Schedules don't really line up anymore, or they just lose interest. People go through big life changes. That's another big one. Viewers that get kids, or viewers that get, I don't know, divorces or married, whatever. Life changes happen. Okay, I think for highlighting, that looks pretty good on the main weapon, the main staff. What do you guys think? I haven't looked at the back yet. Yeah, we have to do the back as well. Now that I think about it, there's a back section. I think I'm gonna do another little layer though on all of my little stones first. Actually, no, I want to do, yeah, we got to do a layer on that first. You lose your Lowko sub in the divorce. Well, I think it's mostly that people have to like restructure their lives. That seems to be what it comes down to. Sometimes when people switch jobs, chat, this is something I've also noticed. Sometimes when people switch jobs, and they are regular Twitch viewers, they find out that at the new job, they're actually expected to be working all the time. And they can't like watch streams. Now, I'm not calling anybody out. If you feel called out right now, look, that's a you problem, not a me problem, okay? Maybe too realistic, we want a pink dress? Sounds like a bad job. Right. But that is something I've heard as well in the past, where people actually, yeah, need to spend more time working at work. I know. My wife said it's either her or Lowko. She will be missed. Very nice, Figaro. Wait. Hold up, actually. Love the commitment, but... You remember your vows, huh? When you first subscribed. You spend 3 days a week studying now, but at least there's time is in the afternoon. Right. We have a couple of dingle dangles over here too that I would like to highlight. Okay. We'll have to do the other side in a sec. You haven't followed you when you painted... I haven't followed when you painting the red tail, but it's very succeed. Yo, thank you. I've been trying. We're adding some of the details to the metallics today. Welcome back. I've been spending some painting time on the metallics recently. It turns out it's not really that much armor, but it's quite time intensive. This is my first live stream, and all I can say is, wow, hey, thanks, man. In the White Dwarf of Old Age, it wasn't the thing most angry to paint. You mean the Skaven? There's a whole new range of them recently. I always like painting, man, it's fun. Even though sometimes it can be a little frustrating, but... I feel like we don't really want to be too clean on some of the metallics. If we're gonna weather them down, it makes sense to keep at least some of it a bit rough. Even though that feels a bit counterintuitive, but... Bit of a highlight here, bit of a highlight there. But keep it relatively mellow. Okay. Now, there's a lot of little triangles all over this guy's cloak, or robe, or dress, whatever we want to call it. I think we have to add a little bit of color to that too, even though it's a bit tedious. Just a tiny little highlight around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. Gotta add a little bit of interest. Nice. I got some yellow paint on my finger. Yellow. Nice. Didn't know I had the patience to do this? Mate, I didn't know I had the patience to do this until I started painting earlier this year. I feel like I'm not really the most patient person out there. Or at least, I've never been very patient in a lot of things. But for some reason, yeah, it's been nice. I feel like if I did this as a kid, I would have gotten very frustrated. Like sometimes I think, oh, it would have been really fun if I found out about miniature painting when I was young. I didn't really start until this year. But I also think when I was younger, I probably would have given up very quickly. Like I would have started, a new project full of vigor, you know? I would have been... I would have had big plans, but I wouldn't have followed through. I feel like now that I'm a little older, I'm much better at that sort of thing. I'll finish the damn project. And I will try and keep up to a certain standard. We're not gonna rush anything. Especially for these larger projects, though. It's usually the beginning that is exciting, you know? Like the beginning, you're like, oh yeah, all these things, and then a week into it, you're like, what about a new project instead? It's more long-term thinking, I suppose. When I was younger, I was like, just trying to get to the end. Trying to get to the finish line, and that's it. But journey before destination, as always. Gotta think of things as marathons rather than a sprint. At least that's what I've been doing in like most stuff for like the last decade or so, the last maybe decade and a half. Trying to think of long term rather than short term. I feel like this fits quite well in that department, you know? I see that with a lot of your models from a few years ago. Most of them are partially finished. Right. I mean, I don't think it's bad to switch project necessarily, but it's kind of a thing I try to catch in myself, I guess, you know? Character building. Painting Skavens with all colors in tons of green, brown, and dark can be annoying. Right. I mean, ultimately, hobby time is hobby time, right? So obviously, if you're not enjoying yourself, it kind of defeats the purpose if you're trying to have fun. But I tend to be a tryhard with everything I do. Which is not necessarily a good thing. I do very few things casually. Very few things just for fun. I don't know why, man. This one's a little too much. Painting an army is very different. Yeah, for sure. I find painting an army like that, I don't know. I just don't start that because I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it. You've returned with breakfast? Yo, welcome back. You have missed me putting little tiny lines on metallic pieces. No worries, we're gonna continue doing more metallic lines on tiny pieces. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Shiny. That seems way better. Okay. This guy has little bells in his antlers. How cute. How kawaii. What's up, Metadar? How about a kill team or a war cry? So I don't paint. I don't paint for any like game or whatever. Like if I were to paint for a game, it'd be a little bit different, Lars. I just paint for fun. So it's some of the warbands though do look really cool together, but I don't really see the appeal of painting like, you know, 150 Space Marines with slightly different poses. I just don't care. What's going on, Games and Servants? Will Master Splinter help me make my back stop hurting? Master Splinter? Are you a turtle? If you're a turtle, maybe. What's up, Manadar? Good morning. Okay. Look at this fucking spike, man. Can you see that? Miniature is actually sharp. Like I had my, I had this like freaking front-facing part sticking into my. There's an actual. All right. Gotta be careful, man. Don't want to draw blood. I don't know what happens to rats when. I feel like they might go crazy, dude. Yeah, the mini is attacking. We don't want to. We don't want to be too crazy. As far as I know, Blizzard never got into miniature painting. No, not into miniature production like this. There's probably some unofficial ones, but not at least similar quality as you know, Games Workshop, which is where this miniature is from. People do complain a lot about Games Workshop, but they do make some really nice plastic, man. You could paint a cloaked ghost. Right. I've already painted a Dark Templar and a Banshee. Okay. Okay. Let's add a little bit more green into the mix. A little bit of a, yeah, a little bit more of a stripe of green. I want to add 3 different colors still to the warp stones. Now that the non-oil is dry, or it should be dry anyways. Same for the warp lightning. Always double check whether or not those stupid Games Workshop pots are actually closed, because they tend to not be closed. I want to do a small, like a bit of a chunky highlight, and then a tiny smaller highlight in a moment. So this should be a relatively chunky highlight on all of those raised edges on this piece of fluff. Okay. Got it off. Relatively chunky highlights, and then in the same areas in a little bit, I want to add a skinnier highlight with a brighter green. And I will do some dot highlights with yellow. So we go from dark to brighter to brightest. And then a dot of an entirely different color. It's my first time painting warp stones, but I think they're looking good. I don't know yet how I'm gonna reach these. EMP really is the best spell in the game. EMP in StarCraft 2 is really good, yeah. It doesn't have a very fancy visual. So for the longest time, nobody has ever complained about it. Like, it doesn't look as cool as psionic bombs, right? Or psionic bombs? Psionic storms or parasitic bombs. But viewers have caught on about a year ago. I don't want to be an EMP hipster, but I've been saying for a long time that it's overtuned, chat. Okay, just trying my best to get a little bit of color in there. Well, Snipe is also really good. Yeah. Different spell, though. Ghosts in general are just really good, guys. That's what it comes down to. Okay, trying to be a little bit thinner with this particular highlight. Specifically want it to be towards the top. I don't really care so much if it's a little bit towards the bottom or a little bit darker towards the bottom. This one's a bit too chunky, I think. Very tiny little rocks. Just trying to follow the shape. Yeah, I'll take some of the slightly darker color here. Try to either like wet blend it or just cover it up a little bit, make it a tiny bit skinnier. Paint is still a little bit wet. Well, I said that. These acrylic paints dry really quick, man. Why is there a bell on his tail? I don't know, dude. He's got loads of bells. There's like bells over here too, on his horns. There's a bunch of them all over. I don't really know why there's so many bells. But yeah, they're there. They exist. I guess he rings them when it's lunchtime, you know? We have caught another human. Ring the bells. Maybe he sells ice cream? The prophet of the horned rat strolls in with his little ice cream truck. Strange fan fiction, but I'm here for it. Okay. How in the world am I gonna add a highlight on this one? How did I just do it? I gotta kinda go around a corner, I guess. Try to wipe off a little bit of my spill. Not bad. Honestly works. Okay. And then for the brightest spots, I want to do a tiny little dot of yellow. Did I already do all of them? Yes. Okay, just a tiny little dot of yellow. Just in the brightest, edgiest areas, you know? The edgiest sections. Just to make them look extra bright. I think it works really well. I don't really understand why, but yellow seems to make green look brighter. I know that's a weird sentence, but when you add like a little tiny edgy highlight on the brightest section in yellow, it seems like it's a very bright green. I saw somebody do this in a YouTube video. I don't quite understand the color theory behind it, but it works. Just little stipples of yellow. Especially when it dries, it kind of, like these colors are relatively opaque, but not fully. So it shows a little bit of the green underneath, and I think it works. Okay, so the belt is what we did just now. Maybe I can zoom in, hold up. We can have a bit of a better lighting setup. So the belt is what I just did. I think it works well, right? It looks good. Honestly, I'm very happy with how this whole section's coming along. I also tried to do the ones right over there. The belt protector right over there, the wiener protector right on the front. I think that one's turned out pretty good too. The weapon. Yeah. Yeah. All right, good. What's up, Blade? It's almost as if green is made from purple. I know, dude. Crazy. That's a good looking red dude. Thanks, man. What do you think of the miniature, Lathrinus? Oh, you weren't talking about me. Oh, okay. I thought you called me a rat. Look, out of curiosity, I need something to wish for Christmas. What kind of brushes do you use? Ooh, what sort of budget are you thinking, Blade? There's a bunch of really nice brush brands out there. I have been really liking So recently I've been testing Artis Opus ones. They have a really nice gift box. So these are the Artis Opus Series S brushes. These are like really fucking good, but also kind of expensive, and I don't think I would buy them again. They are like a perfect Christmas gift though, maybe. What color is the rope gonna be? It's gonna be like an olivey dark green. Once we get to base coating that, it'll look a lot cooler, I think. I also really like the Rosemary & Co. Series 33. These ones right over here. But I'm by no means an expert, man. These are quite a bit cheaper, and I don't really notice much of a price difference. I think Rosemary & Co., like a size 2 and like a 00. That's what I use for like 99% of my stuff. I use some brush soap. So this stuff is called the Master's Cleaner. But you have a bunch of different ones. I have no experience with the other ones, but I read on the internet that that one's good and it seems to work. Yeah, it's Kolinsky Sable brushes. Kolinsky Sable in general is considered good. There's like a bunch of brands that do them. Like Rosemary & Co., but I know that Winsor & Newton is a really big one. The Da Vinci range has them too. Raphael 8404, I think is what the range is. A lot of people swear by those. But there's lots of different ones, man. Lots of different brands. What's going on, Vizzy? No streams? No, just not on Monday. You bought the Winsor & Newton Series 7 ones and they're really good? Yeah, they are considered awesome, but they're expensive over here, Lizardbolt man. Like the cheapest Winsor & Newton ones I could find were like 22 euro for a single brush. And from what I've gathered, they use the exact same hair. Like some of them are slightly thicker. So like some brands have like more hair in like a size 2. So that is kind of bait actually. That is something I have noticed. A size 2 in a brush, right? So say for example, I have a size 2 right over here, which is something I use a lot. A size 2 in this brand is not the same as a size 2 in another brand. Some size 2 brands, like size 2 doesn't mean shit. It's something that the brush maker just kind of invents themselves. They just come up with whatever a size 2 is, but it's not a standardized thing, which is kind of annoying. I wouldn't have minded it if it was a little bit, you know. It's very silly, yes. But Kolinsky Sable in general are really good. Yeah, so this week I'm streaming Tuesday through Saturday. So rather than streaming Monday, or not streaming Wednesday, I guess, and then streaming Mondays, I figured we'll mix it up a little bit. Yes, I also found this out the hard way, Lizardbolt man. So some of them have miniature on the name of the brush. So this is a size 1. And then this is also a size 1. So these are both size 1. Now most folks hate these things. I bought this on accident when I first got into miniature painting. They were on Amazon, they were like 9 euro. And I thought, oh, this is sick, that's gotta be amazing. Because it says miniature on it, so it must be great for miniatures. Most folks that I have found on the internet, most of the high-end painters in particular, hate miniature brushes. They really don't like miniature brushes. So the idea is that they're much shorter bristles. And obviously you can do very fine lines with that quite easily, right? However, most people hate them because the paint tends to dry into the bristles relatively quickly because you have, you know, less moisture in the brush. So you have to like refill it more frequently. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I made a mistake. That's kind of shitty. I don't know why I bought those, but okay, my bad for not doing more research. And then I watched this YouTube channel of a guy called Infernal Brush. And I noticed he uses miniature brushes all the time. And that guy just won the Golden Demon contest, which is like the highest miniature painting competition there is. So Yeah, even though most folks hate the miniature brushes, there's also people that are very good at painting that do use. So it's really just a personal preference. It really is just a personal preference. Whatever you like best. It seems like it's a little bit of experimentation, you know? Okay, we want to add a little bit of color. So some of these sections too, some of the coppery areas. I do really like, though, in miniature painting that you can buy, like, the cream of the crop of the tools for, like, 10 bucks. It's kind of nice. Yo, Psycho, thank you for the 37. Much appreciate that. Thank you very much. You cleaned my room, so I get a sub? Dude, that's a double win right there. Thank you, Psycho. Appreciate it. What do I know of Rylanor? I don't know much about Rylanor, but I know there's a lot of Rylanor fans out there. He appears at some point in one of the Horus Heresy books. But I haven't really seen him too much. I don't really know much about Rylanor. But I know he's a well-known character, so I guess he gets very old. Because he probably appears in loads of other books. Isn't he a Pokemon? No, he's a Dreadnought. Rylanor! He does kind of sound like a Pokemon. Oh no, your Rylanor is evolving. Dum bum 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 ba da dum. Rylanor. Rylanine, Rylanor, Rylanusi. I think that's the ultimate evolution. Hey, Big Papa Bear, welcome. You're currently reading False Gods? Nice. Is that the second? I think that's the second one, right? Nice, nice, nice. Which one's that, Reinsturk? Avowed? I did see that one. Looks pretty good. I try not to get too hyped for new releases, man. Getting hyped over new game releases is a build order mistake. Sometimes I get hyped. I allow myself to get hyped by some. Like, for example, From Software games haven't yet disappointed me, you know? If they announce a Dark Souls game, I will be hyped. But I have been disappointed in video games many, many times over the years. Especially recent years. So any game that looks promising, I don't really, you know, I kind of keep tabs on it, but... Especially for games that start their marketing really early. Like if a game starts their release marketing months and months and months before the game actually comes out, I immediately get a little bit sketched out, man. That kind of sounds like one of those companies that has such a large marketing budget that they're planning on just smothering you. Which does not mean that the game is good. That's the meme, dude. Like, you'd imagine if you have a very large marketing budget, that the game is also gonna be very good, but... I'm gonna add a little bit as well, by the way, here to the staff. Yeah, I'm not saying this one is gonna be a dud. I'm just saying I'm in general always a little bit hesitant whenever we see very early marketing. Would I be hyped for StarCraft 3? I mean, that would be amazing, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen, huh? I don't even know if the game would be good. But it'd be great for my channels. Word on the street has it that Blizzard is working on a, like a Helldivers type of game for StarCraft. That they're working on some sort of hero shooter type of thing in the StarCraft world. Very good chance that is currently going on. Should be good. Very different though than the StarCraft that we all know and love. But yeah, maybe. Well, I know they were hiring for a bunch of stuff. Like, they've tried making a StarCraft shooter many times in the past. And it never really, they never finished it. Like, from what I understand, they canned the project like twice. So they've spent a lot of money on it in the past. And one of those projects, I think, turned into Overwatch, but... they have tried. It's not like the StarCraft name is dead. But I don't see them making an RTS. Sadly, bros. Sadly. I think most of us would love it, but don't get your hopes up. I'll try and take the edge off of some of the blue. Some of it is a bit too bright. It's not so much bright, it's lacking a little bit of depth in some areas. Okay. Quite good. Yeah, the main thing is you can't really make an RTS game for console, right? Like, it's very hard to do well. So I'm sure they thought about it. But ultimately, mobile and console, that's where a lot of money is. And for companies that size, they generally try to just appeal to the largest possible player base. Halo Wars and 2 is pretty good. Yeah, kinda. Sorta. Yeah, given the constraints, exactly. But it doesn't really hold a candle to StarCraft in my opinion. Not to say that they're bad games, but it's just, you know, different vibes. There's a lot of indie games in development for RTS, but none of them look incredible at the moment. I mean, I like them all. I think all of them are looking good, but they're not here to take over StarCraft, you know? Like, we're not in that category. So it looks like we're just trucking along. I did like it, Mickey. Yeah, I played a tiny bit, though. Not much. Companies needing to make more money is kind of annoying. Dude! 100%, man. Companies needing to make so much money? Ugh. It can be quite annoying, I agree. Now, there is a chance that there's a guy at the, you know, the board at Xbox who's like a massive fan of RTS games or something, and they could make it happen. But I think from a purely financial point of view, it's quite difficult to justify for a AAA studio to make RTS games. It's not so much that they can't make money, it's that they could make money in other ways more efficiently, right? And that's ultimately what a lot of companies aim for.